I got married when we were really young, and we had Poppy when we were really, really young. And when we had Poppy, we really had no idea what we were doing. And there were some really, really hard years that he didn't know whether he wanted to continue racing. I was sort of going through this transition of having like quite a demanding job into the throes of motherhood and figuring out who I was. And yeah, there were some really hard years. And there were times where we really didn't have a lot of money. We had to sort of like really be crafty in the way that we did things so that we could get by. And there were a lot of times where Jay and I like discussed whether or not he was going to retire. And I can just remember that I said to him, if you retire now, you will regret it for the rest of your life. And there were lots of conversations like that. We've had a lot of family things that we've had to deal with over the years. We also grew up together, which if you've ever grown up with your partner, we've got to meet each other at so many different phases of our life. And that has been, it's been fun to do that with Jay, but it's also been really hard at times. So we've really learnt to rely on each other when we need to, but I think the coolest thing is that both Jay and I have learnt to be really strong ourselves because we've been thrown into so many difficult situations. Now it's quite cool to see we've sort of come out the other end as different people. When we first came even just to Japan, we are different to what we were before we left Australia. So, I mean, I support Jay 100% in everything that he does, but it hasn't been without difficulty. And I think if you look in from the outside, it might have always looked like it was smooth sailing. But yeah, it hasn't been smooth sailing at all. And there were many times where not only was it difficult for racing, but it put a lot of pressure on our relationship as well. But we both did a lot of work on ourselves when we need to, and we sort of like held each other's hands along the way while we did our own work, which is, I think, the essence of what it means to be in a relationship. It's to hold each other's hands while we go through all of life's transitions. And I think Jay and I have done that really well, and I'm really proud of us for that. I have talked about coming to Japan before and like how it was difficult for me because I had a dream in Australia. But to be honest, the first year I think was probably easiest upon reflection now because it was so new and exciting and there was so much to see and do. Last year for me was probably one of the most difficult years I think I've ever had in my whole life. I really feel like my identity had been stripped from me. I didn't know where I fit in anymore. I didn't know what my purpose was, and just the stress, I think, of being in Japan and on our own, and the responsibility that I feel with Jay and Poppy, and just to be the three of us supporting each other all the time. I really felt like last year was so hard, and I got very sick towards the end of last year. And now having gone through all of that, I think Jay supported me so well at the end of last year when I really took like a big deep dive with my health. And coming out the other side now, I think I've realized that my dream in Japan isn't to do anything other than to be where I am. And I really feel reinvigorated. I feel like a different person this year, and I'm excited to be here again, which towards the end of last year I was really feeling not homesick, but I really didn't know where home was anymore. And even with my yoga, I really feel like my purpose had been taken away. And now I just realized that my purpose is really just to be happy, and I do feel really happy now. I don't feel so lost. I feel like I've found myself again. And I mean, you can probably see in Jay, he's very happy at the moment, and so am I. And I know that these moments are fleeting. I know what it feels like to feel really high and elated and things to be going really well. And I know what the polarity of that is, and to feel how hard things can be. So this year I'm really just enjoying where we are and enjoying not really knowing what we're doing, because it's fun. There's not many chapters in your life where you can just be somewhere and not have to think about where you're going. And yeah, that's where we are right now.
What up? How was my terrible riding? Overriding. Track is flat. I was too aggressive. I need to calm down, huh? Go have a nap, relax for a little bit, calm down. Maybe get Misty to do some yoga. days like this are important, you know. I think, I don't know, I feel like I don't know, I felt like a little bit of a relief after Moto 1 because, I don't know, it sounds bad, but when you're winning all the time, the expectation is that you can only win. And I've had, like, everyone expects me to keep on going on these perfect runs of like winning every race or perfect seasons, but you know, last year the last 2 years I've dealt with that all the way up until the very end, and the pressure from that is quite a lot. Where today, like, we're round 2 and 3 today, and you know, I finished third in Moto 1, so I don't know. It's also important for everybody, not only me, but for everybody to realize that I'm human, everyone else is human, and yeah, everybody has bad days as well. So it shows that I need to go back and work on some other things. I'm not perfect by any means, and there's a lot that I can improve on in the future for sure. Obviously here in Japan, it's had its challenges. For me, I live a pretty exciting life, and it's a dream for me what I'm doing here in Japan. So life in Japan's quite easy for me, but for Misty and for Poppy, it's got its challenges for sure. I think with Misty, it's hard because she lost her identity when we come to Japan. She's not able to work on our current visa, and just communicating and dealing with the day-to-day stuff has got its challenges. But this year, I think we're starting to feel comfortable. We're finding a small community that we can sort of talk with and have a life outside of just motorbikes, and I think that's been exciting, and it seems like it's sort of energized Misty as well to continue our stay here. I would say maybe longer into the future. I think last year we were sort of starting to wonder what our next step was for the future, and how we manage with everything that we've done here with my job, having success with my job here, but also then carry that into something else that is more, I guess, manageable and fun and exciting for my family still, where we can have a life outside of just my job. But I feel like this year we've made some big steps forward with just being more comfortable and having close friends with us, and trying to get out and explore more things with a community of people, and I think that's been a big help. So hopefully we can stay here longer, and yeah, we also might have some exciting stuff later in these videos that we can share with you guys of another project that we're working on outside of motorbikes, and I think that will keep Misty extremely busy, and also something that she's wanted for a long time. So I think that'll be very exciting, and yeah, we will share something with you at a later date. I'm not overly confident with my building skills, let's give that as a hint. So I'm not going to show you too much until after because it might be a long process. Dr. Misty today.
No, my phone fell in the toilet, and then after that it felt like a day went in the toilet. So
Yeah, everybody was telling me it was good luck that her phone went in the toilet. It was shitty luck.
But look at us, like we look like a wreck.
Yeah, so anyway, sliced my arm open today, Moto 1. Misty's there cleaning that out, and then my eyes,
You
Moto 1.
must have thought that I was bored.
And then Moto 2, I had to throw my goggles as well. My eyes turned to absolute, it was terrible. Anyway, I was worried Misty was touching her phone too much, and I was going to get pink eye.
He was worried that my phone was contaminated and I was going to put it in his eyes.
So anyway, I've had the alcohol wipe in my eyes trying to clean them out, so hopefully we don't end up with pink eye next week.
No. But this is what?
Oh, yeah.
This is what a hard day of racing looks like at the end.
Welcome to the Wilsons. It's not
Very pretty.
all glamorous all the time.